The purpose of this video is about the knots I use. I use several different knots, and it depends what I'm using, what I'm doing, and how I want the rope to finish about which knots I'm going to use. If I'm tying the hands, I will tend to come underneath. This is kind of weird because obviously I'm trying to keep out of the way, and this is a bamboo, not a person. So I'm going to pull this tight down to the bamboo. You wouldn't do this with a person obviously, but you know, this helps to illustrate what's going on with the knots. And if I curl in, put the end through, try to keep my hands out of the way and show you with this. If I'm doing this, the tail, the bite of the rope disappears down the back, and this comes up and off generally to the left, like this. That's one type of knot that I might use, starting TK, coming up behind. Another one, if I come up behind again in the same way, okay, and I am just going to go behind in exactly the same way, and then we'll again pull it down tight so that these stay on the bamboo and we can see what's happening. Okay, with this, if I come around the back of the rope and make it twist as I'm going in, we pull this twist through so that we get the twist here on the front. Let's try and open that up and show you it again, that we don't leave it, we come all the way through so that we get the twist all the way through. There, and there it is tight. And as you can see, this is coming out right at the back, and I've got the bite out in front of me. Anybody who knows me will know I've gone into all kinds of reasons about why I like to come up behind when I'm tying the hands. But if I'm not tying the hands, if for instance I'm tying a limb, this bamboo's got an open end here, and what I would do is I would go around overhand. I'd do this left or right-handed obviously, but in this case I'm going to do it right-handed because this is the way that the bamboo is. And let's make that tight again. Okay. Okay. Now if we do the same, go behind and make that twist through and pull tight. Well, what we have the bite coming out on this side, same as this one, but also we have a different shape to the knot. In fact, we have the reverse of this knot. We have a complete reverse. Now looking at this one, and maybe you can guess what's going to happen with the next one. I'm going to go around twice again, through, that tight down to the bamboo so it doesn't go anywhere, and again this time we'll make the twist in, pull the end through and pull down, and look at the knot we get. We get the opposite of that knot. So we've got the two knots on the end, the bite's going away and the running ends towards us. We've got the two in the centre, which went round in opposite directions, the bites are towards us and the running ends are shooting away. And as you can see, this knot and this knot are identical but tied in opposite directions. This knot and this knot are the same and tied in opposite directions. And it depends what I'm going to do with the tie. If I'm not going to capture the bite and I'm tying a kind of a tie where I want some space at the back, I will use this one to start off with. If I'm tying something that I want to be close to the back, I'm going to start off with this one and have the bite here to finish. If I'm tying something on another part of the body and the tie is going to move away from me, and I've tied it obviously right-handed over the right hand edge which is empty, then I'm going to tie this knot. If I'm going to tie something and it's going to come towards me, I'm going to use this knot. So I'm always going to choose the knot depending on what the situation is and depending on what I'm going to do next. I don't say I always tie the twist one forever, because sometimes I don't. I don't always do the one where I take it behind forever, because I don't always. I use it depending on what tie I'm doing and how I want to finish up and what I want to do with the ends. And sometimes I change my mind, and sometimes I use different knots at different times, and it depends what I'm doing. Okay, so those weren't perfect, but I hope they'll do for demonstration purposes. If I want something that's going to be uncollapsible, because all of those knots were collapsible, they can be broken. If I want something that's uncollapsible, I'll use this. If you look, I was introduced to the rope community by a topologist, and this is my method where I tie the Somerville bowline, so-called. I don't even know if it's really a bowline. Somebody who's more of a knot geek can probably tell me for sure, but I like this knot. It's very, very good. It's very solid. It's very reliable. It does not collapse under any circumstance. It's not something, for obvious reasons that I've been over many times, that I would ever start a harness with, especially a TK kind of harness. If it was started with a single limb, I wouldn't have any objections to, but if it's something like a box tie, I think there are really good reasons not to. But like I say, that's something I've been into over and over again. So I really, really, really like that one. So I really like all of these knots. People tend to be on the lookout for one knot that can do everything, and you're not going to get one knot that can do everything. You're going to want different knots for different circumstances. Here's another one that I really like for doing ends at the beginning of a tie. I won't cheat by going over the open end. I'll do it this way. If instead of going just over and over here and underneath like I would with a normal knot, but I go over the top and completely capture the bite, and then I've got a video where I show this without the quick release, but actually it's more stable with the quick release, because then you have to bend 4 strands to get the knot to collapse instead of 2. So actually the quick release makes it tidier and more stable. Some people tie it the other way around. I tie it this way around because I can disappear the bulk into the back as much as humanly possible, and it's always nice to have that little quick release there. So that's a good way of doing that one. I recommend that one to people who have more of a problem with this kind of knot collapsing. If you have problems with this kind of knot collapsing, there's the overhand one again, then to start a tie, to start a box tie, I'd recommend the other one, which I don't know, it's probably got a really good proper name, but I just call it Wicked Fast because it's wickedly fast to tie that. It's another one called a bowline that is probably not really a bowline, but it satisfies a lot of the criteria to be one. So I think that's it on knots. This isn't really a tutorial of the knots. I've not really tried to, demonstrate them in a teacher kind of a way. It's more that I wanted to go over. This is a range of knots that I use for a range of purposes and in a range of situations that it depends on what I'm going to do next. There isn't one knot to rule them all. You need to select the correct knot for what you're doing. And even when it's the same knot reversed, which knot is it for which situation? Okay, I hope that's good.